And welcome to the Stewartry Area Committee. Before we begin today's meeting, we'd like to share some positive news from across the Stewartry area. To do that, I'm going to pass over to the Vice Chair, Councillor Kim Lowe, who will share the positive news stories.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I can't be with you today in person. A lot of good news stories this meeting. So Stafford McDowell proudly captained Scotland Rugby Union team in their convincing win against America at Murrayfield earlier this month, which is a fantastic achievement that reflects the strength and talent in our region and particularly in rugby. Kelton, the belted Galloway bull, beautifully woven by Trevor Leet, has now returned to Market Hill as a permanent gateway to Galloway. The Forward Kelton Group extends heartfelt thanks to everyone who supported this wonderful heritage project. Elsa Black continues her tireless volunteering work to keep the B795 road litter-free, rain and shine, a true example of community spirit. The Stewartry Sports Council will be celebrating many successes at the annual awards on the 28th of November to look forward to. And finally, Nithsdale Area Committee has agreed that a memorial plaque for former Stewartry Sports Councillor and Trustee Keith Tom will be placed in the new indoor tennis centre development in Dumfries, which is progressing well. A fitting tribute to his contribution to local sport. Thank you to everyone who plays a part in making our region such a vibrant and supportive community. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Lowe. We'll now move forward with the meeting agenda. Just to let you know at this point that this area committee meeting will be live streamed on Teams and that a recording will be available online shortly after the finish of the meeting. Members may notice that when calling members to speak, I will refer to them formally and using their title, for example, Councillor Smith, so that it is clear who are councillors and who by process of elimination are officers. Remote participants, please follow the code of good practice guidance, which includes muting microphones and switching off your video when you are not addressing the meeting, writing speak in the Teams chat function when you want to contribute. If you are in the hall, you can do this on your iPad or iPhone. Please don't repeat contributions already made by other members. No material should be posted in the chat function if it's intended as part of the discussion. The usual standing orders apply, including any votes will be undertaken by roll call. If any members has to leave the meeting, please either leave the Teams meeting for that period of time or write leave in the Teams chat function and then join when you rejoin the meeting so we can keep track on whether the meeting is in quorum. All members should speak clearly, taking their time and speaking directly into the microphone and when making contributions. When referring to reports, please provide reference to the relevant page and paragraph to allow everyone to follow. Please focus contributions on areas where clarification is required or to propose an alternative to recommendation. Similar to the process now followed at full council, when considering motions, amendments which are substantive in nature, I will call a recess where necessary so that I may seek governance advice on competency. This is good practice in governance terms and will also provide for governance to be able to collate and circulate the terms of said motion amendment to members in order that they have the opportunity to properly review it. I hope this process makes matters more effective and I seek member support in implementing this. Can I ask Ingrid, Claire. Claire, please, for the Sedrant apologies.
Thank you, Chair. I've got apologies this morning from Councillor Young, and we have 8 members present, yourself, Chair, here in the chamber at Dar Road, everybody else present on Teams. Thank you.
Okay, and I give my approval for remote participation. Number 2, declarations of interest. Do members have any statement of connection or declaration of interest to declare based on the definition Statement of connection. For transparency reasons, members may wish to make a public statement. 2, declaration of interest. Members were now required to leave the meeting of that team. Before we move on to that, we have a Pauline Drysdale. Councillor Drysdale has a point.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, members. Yeah, I'm going to declare an interest in agenda item 4, as I happen to know the couple that live next door to the land that's for sale. So I'll leave the meeting during that discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Drysdale. Are there any other statements of public statements of connection or interest? No. Okay, item 3. Minutes of previous meeting, 17th of September 2025. Members are asked to approve these minutes. Are members happy to approve? Councillor Drysdale, thank you.
Yeah, happy to approve, Chair. Can I come back in though just before item number 4, before I leave the room, as I wish to make a point, if that's possible, and governance allows me to do so. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Thanks, Chair. So with regards to agenda item number 4, I note that in 2.2, Community Council and groups have been listed, and we are allowed to identify other local groups. This is a difficult one for me because I do know the couple that live next to the area of land that's up for discussion today, but I also want to be sure that other residents that live nearby to this property and this piece of land are also communicated with, as I think it's quite relevant that they live in the surrounding area. So there's quite a few cottages nearby and houses who've expressed an interest in what's happening there. So just to check through governance that you as councillors will make sure that that is brought up and that those nearby properties are communicated with regards to the disposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Drysdale. Claire, would you like to talk through the governance, please?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just thought it might be helpful just to remind members why the report's here at committee today. It's gone past the stage of being declared surplus. It's here really to identify other local groups to be engaged. So, yeah, I thought that might be of some assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Does that answer your point, Councillor Drysdale?
Thank you. Through yourself, Chair. Now, I understand what Claire's saying, but what I'm asking is, will the council make sure that nearby properties are communicated with? I get that it's gone past a certain point, but at this point, if it's now up for disposal, the other nearby properties need to be informed, is what I'm asking. Will they be informed? Thank you, Claire.
Claire, can you reply?
Well, the report author, Colin Freeman, will be on the call, so I'm sure he can take that point on board when he's answering queries from the committee. Thank you.
Yeah, so under item 4, there will be various questions raised with Colin Freeman, so he will attend and be able to respond to those points. So thank you, Councillor Drysdale, and Claire also for your assistance. We'll now move on to item 4, which is land at Rayborn Cottage, Hard Hills, Castle Douglas. Report by Interim Assistant Director, Transport and Infrastructure. The first report we have today informs elected members that the land at Rayburn Cottage, Hard Hills, Castle Douglas has been declared surplus to council requirements. It also lists the organisations and community groups that have been consulted about possible interest in the site. Members are invited to identify any other groups who may have interest in the land. Colin Freeman, Principal Estate and Assets Management Officer, is available to answer members' questions and comments. So at this point, I'd like to hand over to Councillor Lowe for some questions.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Colin. I have no problem with the report and identifying the groups, and we've now identified the correct community council, which is good. Can I just ask, because it's not in these papers, but may well be in earlier papers, what prompted the disposal of this particular piece of land?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. Thank you, Councillor Lowe, for the question. This piece of land was publicly advertised for sale in 2024. Subsequently, the landowner discovered through their solicitor and a check with Land Ownership Scotland that not all of the plot was in the ownership of the owner of Rayburn Cottage, because part of the land was built, part of the land formed the solemn of the former Turnpike Road, and as the successor of the Turnpike trustees, the council became ownership of the 600 odd square metres that formed the land that's been declared surplus. The solicitor approached the council and asked if we would sell that piece of land to the owner of Rayburn Cottage. We agreed that we would. Therefore, we embarked on the declaring surplus process, which involved Service Committee, Strategic Asset Board, and finally, once declared surplus, we engaged with the local area committee to identify any community groups that might have an interest in it, because when we get to the point of sale and disposal, under the standard clauses, 24 Scottish standard clauses, we need to confirm that there is no community interest under the Community Empowerment Act and community asset transfer related. I hope that answers your question, Councillor Rowe.
Yes, that does. Thank you. And I hope, if you don't mind, Chair, if I could ask a related question. So
That's fine, Councillor Lowe.
Thank you. So this is one section of the old Turnpike Road. It actually carries on over the other side of the road. So I'm just wondering if for something for the future, if we're aware of the status of the extension that goes the other side of the lane, because I'm aware that that's a bit of a dumping ground. It's just a bit of open land that we get quite a lot of fly tipping on. And if that's something that for consideration will also become a capital receipt and be made available for sale, since it's related to this bit of land.
Colin, are you able to provide a response?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Lowe. When the solicitor became aware that the land in question today was not in the ownership of Rayburn Cottage, they undertook a search with Land Ownership Scotland, and they couldn't identify that areas round about the Turnpike or the former Turnpike the council had title to. So we're not aware that we own any other land in and around the Rayburn Cottage area.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Howie?
Thank you, Chair. Colin, just from your explanation there, are we restricted to selling this purely to the occupants of Rayburn Cottage, or can we go for the highest receipt, putting the title on the market, or are we restricted to that individual only?
Colin, can you provide a response?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Howie. We will enter into a negotiated off-market sale with the owner of Rayburn Cottage, because the land itself forms part of that plot and would be of no interest to any other person. They couldn't use it for anything else. So we wouldn't publicly advertise it. We wouldn't publicly promote it as an opportunity for sale. We'll enter into a negotiated off-market sale with the owner of Rayburn Cottage, and we will seek to gain best consideration, which is what the market would tell us it was worth.
Thank you.
Councillor Howie, satisfied with that response? Thank you.
Yes, Chair, thank you.
Collins, is there anything further you would like to add to the report?
Thank you, Chair. Nothing further to add.
Members, do you have any further questions or comments? No? In that case, members, we're asked to 1. Note that the land at Rayburn Cottage, Hard Hills, Castle Douglas, extending to 660 square metres, or thereby as shown outlined in black on the appendix, is surplus to council requirements. 2. Note that the Community Council and groups listed in paragraph 4.4 in this report have been consulted regarding potential community interest. And 3. Identify any other local groups to be engaged with in regard to the disposal of land at Rayburn Cottage, Hard Hills, Castle Douglas. Are members happy to agree the recommendation? I see. Yep, it's unanimous then. We're in agreement. Thank you, everybody. And we'll now move on to agenda item 5. The Stewartry Area Committee Tackling Poverty and Inequalities Fund Budget Monitoring Report 2024-25. Report by Head of Thriving Communities. Our next report asks members to note the performance monitoring information from projects and initiatives that receive support from the Stewartry Area Committee Tackling Poverty and Inequalities budget in 2024-2025. It is good to see that the budget continues to provide significant impact for our local communities. Sean O'Toole, Ward Officer, is available to answer any questions on this report. Members, do you have any questions or comments? Sean, is there anything that you would like to add in relation to the report?
Maybe just a few things if I could, Chair. It's in relation to performance monitoring. It's kind of brought up in the last meeting also around tackling poverty and inequalities and discretionary grants, a point that Councillor Lowe raised. I was doing a bit of a two Ronnies thing where I was giving an answer to a previous question, I think. So if I could just clarify, if it could be permitted, Chair, just to clarify around the actual performance cycle and how things are brought back to a committee for monitoring. So I think Councillor Lowe had asked about how we ensure that groups who are awarded in the Stewartry are actually delivering in the Stewartry. So some groups, may apply across the region and do work across the region, but just to ensure that that monitoring is reflected back to members of this committee that, the work is actually being delivered in the Stewartry. So hopefully within your appendix, that's clear. There is kind of note from the groups within the performance reporting within the appendix, that give detail to the delivery in the Stewartry. So if members are content with that format, we'll continue with that. But if members have any suggestions on how we might tease out, that kind of more direct work in the Stewartry, I'm happy to take that away. But hopefully it's as clear as we can be within that monitoring. Another point was that the table, so 4.3 of your report, Councillors Young and Drysdale made the point at last committee that maybe the total awarded and budget available maybe wasn't as clear as it could be. So hopefully that total awarded then followed by total budget available and then any carryover. So just simply that format, hopefully that's a little bit clearer. And the final point, Chair, if I may, Youth Councillor for Galloway and West Dumfries member, Daniel Upson, I think it was, made a comment about maybe presenting the monitoring information a little bit more carbon economically, because there's a lot of full colour printing within it. So hopefully, as a compromise, hopefully members have got within their packs a black and white print only, grayscale only copy. But it is one of the budget options proposals. It is about reducing our carbon footprint, and members' papers and more use of digital is actually one of those points. So thanks very much for allowing me the time there, Chair, just to clarify some of those points.
Thank you, Sean. Members, do you have any further comments or questions with what Sean has just shared with us? Sean, as always, thank you for your input and your report. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Moving on to are members happy to agree the recommendations? So, members are asked to note the performance monitoring information from projects and initiatives that received support from the Stewartry Area Committee tackling poverty and inequality budget in 2024-25 as detailed in the appendix. Are members happy to agree the recommendations? Yep, unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, members, and thank you again, Sean. Item 6, any other business deemed urgent by the Chair due to the need for a decision? I have no further business, so that concludes the meeting. Could I thank you all for your contribution? Our next meeting is scheduled to be held on Wednesday, the 18th of March, 2026. Thanks, everybody.